I'm just going to get right to the point. In December of 2016, I was at a homeless provider. I was in a meeting for the homeless. It was a dinner. It was a holiday dinner. They were showing some movie. It was about Will Smith as an assassin. I don't remember the movie, but it was one of a couple of movies during the event. And there had been some really strange setup where there were three women who said that they were mayors of the suburbs and they introduced the chief of police. Now, almost everybody there was African American, and it was in the basement of the public library. At some point, I went out into the lobby, went to the bathroom. When I came out of the lobby, the chief of police was there. Now, I'd heard him during his talk about how if you got a ticket for loitering, go talk to him and he'd help you with the ticket. And I didn't think much about it. But I said to him when I saw him in the lobby, it was just me and him in the lobby, but there were cameras, right? And I said that, hey, I'd been down to the police station and I tried to report some white collar crime, but they told me that I needed a name in order to be able to talk to somebody. Could he give me a name of a contact in white collar crime? He asked why. I told him why. And then he said, well, that doesn't sound like that has anything to do with here. And then I explained how it was relevant to the locality. And he said, well, before you do that, let me help you get some wraparound services. And he made this gesture like this, wraparound. And I was like, well, can I get a contact with the police first so that, like, somebody I can actually talk to? And he's like, no. I need you to go to this church. And when you go to this church, even if I'm not there, somebody else will be there to meet you. But we got to make sure we take care of you and get you wraparound services. And I was like, okay, all right. A weekend came and I went to the church and he wasn't there and there were no police there, at least no police in uniform that would have been there, and there were no service providers there. This was not that kind of a church. And I understood that I did not want to be in that church. I'm not going to go into too many details, except to say that twice after that I encountered police, African American police, in so-called social service shelters where women and men would go to get their resources. One of them ended up threatening to kick my ass because I called out hardcore rape porn on the TV. They literally had a TV there where a white woman was being sexually engaged by a white man, and then a bunch of black men came and pulled the white man off of her and started raping her. This was on the TV at the food provider that was connected with the Catholic Church. And I said, what are we doing watching porn on TV when we have to pray before we eat? And he said, you better keep your mouth shut. And I said, I said it again, what are we doing watching porn in a place where we have to pray before we eat? And he said, you better shut up if you don't want to get your ass kicked. He said this to me. And then less than a week later, I'm at another place and a Houston police officer assaults me in front of a room full of people. He assaults me in front of a room full of people after he set up some scenario chastising me for interfering with a low-level drug deal in the line leading up to the food provider. And nobody, not one person, anywhere has given a crap that I was kidnapped. I was tortured for 10 days. I watched people get tortured. I was on the streets for years. I've had my entire life completely trashed. I've had eight Texas IDs and driver's license stolen from me and hooked up on accounts for other people. 3 social security cards in just 4 years. Nobody gives a shit when a black cop is making gang signs to flip me to a Hispanic cop who puts me in his squad car after they transfer handcuffs. And when I go back to eat, the black cop says, I still got your picture. By the way, you're banned. I would not be hooking up anybody's fucking bond deal right now.